How many finished illustrations are sitting on your iPad's camera roll or hidden inside your sketchbook simply because you are terrified of what other people might think if you post them? We've all been there. The voice inside your head is telling you that you're not qualified, that your anatomy is slightly off, or that the internet is already flooded with better artists. But if you're waiting for the moment you feel perfect, means you'll be hiding forever. Today we are going to get rid of the fear. This is a step-by-step survival guide of how to put yourself out there as a beginner creative, build a supportive community, and silence that inner critic by turning it into a complete joke. So let's get into it. The first thing is the mindset shift. Start thinking of yourself as a creative right now. It's a classic fake it till you make it mindset, and you don't need a certificate in art or illustration or a huge following to belong here. The only thing that you need to work on is your mindset. Start showing up in your community. For example, on social media, change your profiles or bios. Start going on design events or workshops, or start sharing some interesting design news or competitions you're going to apply, or even competitions you're not going to apply. Start doing some small things that are going to build in a long term and are going to make you feel more confident in that field. And remember, show yourself out there no matter your current level. Also share what you know. We are always focused on people that are ahead of us. We are always thinking that there are so many good people out there and we don't know anything, but don't forget that there are always people who are behind us. There might be one step behind us, there might be complete beginners, and we are working on our skills for a couple of months now. And there is always something that you might know that others who are behind you might find useful. That might be specific eye shape that you already know how to draw, or maybe specific Procreate brush that you learned how to use today. To be honest, I'm a good example of that, because I'm not a professional illustrator, but I still think that there are some things that I can tell that might be useful for someone out there. And don't be afraid to share your behind the scenes, your creative process, maybe things that you're struggling about, because the internet is flooded with people who are showing polished illustrations, and they create that specific feeling of they're amazing, they're perfect, and they just start drawing and this is what they end up with, which is not the case. And that's why I believe that a lot of people are going to resonate with less polished things, with more beginner-friendly things that are actually not that great and amazing, but they're speaking to people on a deeper level. In my videos, I'm sharing a lot my behind the scenes and my progress. Even I have some awful illustrations that I already have in some of my videos. And if you find this video helpful so far, be sure to subscribe for my channel. It means a lot. Step 2 is letting your friends and acquaintances know what you do. Most of the time we're keeping our hobbies away from our closest circle, especially in the beginning. And it might sound counterintuitive, but I would say always share your passion with your closest circle, because those people are your support system. They are going to know what you're doing, and no matter what is happening right now, they'll keep in mind that you already have a passion in art, in design, in illustration, whatever it might be. And who knows, maybe one day they might need your services. I'm a good example of that. Most of my friends know that I draw, that I am always doing something, and I already have a few projects that came from friends who are telling other people about what I do, and they're like, I actually need this and that, can she do that? And this is how I found a few projects that I worked throughout the years, and that's amazing, just because other people are thinking about you when they hear that somebody needs illustrator or greeting card or whatever it might be related with art, they know who to send them to. So keep in mind that those people may not need your art services right now, but who knows what is going to happen in a month or two, or what is going to happen with their closest circle. As many people know what you do, as many chances you have to find some side projects or side hustles. Step 3 is to look for creative initiatives or local community projects that inspired you and you can volunteer. That's a magical shortcut for beginner illustrators or creatives in general, just because it gives you a lot of room to improve and to show your art in a stress-free environment. When you volunteer into initiatives that speaks to your soul, you actually have creative freedom, you are way more motivated to develop your skills and to actually improve. That is going to help you show out there and to connect with other people, other fellow creatives, or people who are going to see that you are reliable, that you care about what you are doing, that you are passionate. And this is how creative friendships and actually valuable connections start. You can also participate in charity bazaars, for example, if you already have a handful of items with your designs, if you have some illustrations that you printed on enamel mugs or tote bags or prints. That's a good starting point for beginner creatives. If you are planning to apply for charity bazaars, I already have a video about it, which is linked right here, so you can check it out. Step 4 is all about the proactive connection. Let's say that you already have a dream creator or a local community that you admire. Well, if that's the case, you can just reach out to them. Don't start with asking them about the favor or a job, but rather it might be something like, I really like what you do, I really love your work, and if you need a hand for your next initiative, your next event, whatever it is, I can help you. I'd love to connect. And this is what I can do. And here, for example, you can add something that you create specifically for them. This is a great approach because it's going to show the other person that you have a very individualistic approach, which means it's not just a cold email that you're sending to 200 people, but it's something that you create specifically for them. And to be honest, those type of proactivity really stand out, because there are not a lot of people out there who are doing that, believe me. And I'm a huge example of that approach, because outside of drawing and illustration in general, I am a huge music fan. And a few years ago, this is what I did. I approached a few Bulgarian bands and I created a poster, and I told them, you know what, this is what I do. I can create a poster for your next event if you need one, and if you don't have a designer or something happened with your other designers, I don't know. And they actually start working with me after that. I actually worked on more than 15 projects, so it's really amazing, and it's based on only one message that I sent and only one example poster that I did. Most of the people are not expecting somebody to actually approach them in that way, and it really stands out. For example, if you care about cooking, and if you have a cooking idol, somebody who is doing amazing recipes, and you really want to draw, and you want to draw some kind of a recipe, for example, or something related with cooking, you can approach those people and you can tell them something like, you know, this is what I can do for you, and you can draw a quirky recipe with all the ingredients that they're using. And it's a great approach because most of the people may not need that, but there might be people who might be like, you know what, that's a really nice idea for social media. It's different, it might stand out from other cooking experts, let's say. So that's a really nice approach, and you never know who might really find that useful. Which leads us to step number 5. Don't be afraid to experiment. Experiment with your style. Try things outside of your comfort zone, because this is how you are going to evolve immediately. And think of your art as an open playground rather than a corporate final exam that is so rigid that you cannot change it by any means. Now, I know what is going to stop you from doing all these things that we talk about till now. That is the loud judgmental voice in your head that is going to tell you all the time that you're going to fail, that everybody is going to laugh at your art and nothing is going to work. So let's see how we can change that. There is actually a psychological tool that is going to completely disarm that your inner critic, and is going to help you stop taking that voice seriously. Literally draw, or at least spend some time thinking about your inner critic. You can start by imagining it as a cartoon character. You need to create something that is goofy, crazy, and very ridiculous. It might be a cartoon character that you really liked since when you were a child, and it's something that you will never take seriously. For example, mine is a Kermit from the Sesame Street. I can never get Kermit seriously. Give it a silly name, an absurd face, and journal about it. The idea here is to create it as detailed as possible, so it can easily pop in your brain whenever you need it. Then you can start thinking about the clothes that it's wearing. Where is it in the environment? It's better to put it in the most absurd and ridiculous environment possible. For example, my inner critic, Kermit the Frog, is sitting drinking a cocktail with a huge hat. And you can imagine that it's not possible to take that character seriously when it's telling you that everybody is going to laugh at you, because you're going to laugh at that inner critic in the first place. Once you do that, put that idea in your head about the inner critic, how it looks, how it sounds, everything as detailed as possible. So next time when you sit down to draw and you hear that voice in your brain, the first association needs to be that inner critic, which is going to help you just relax and stop taking it seriously. Just imagine that voice saying, "Everybody is going to laugh at this," by something or someone who is squeaking in the corner. When you turn your fears into a silly doodle, it just loses power over you. Step 7 is to get rid of the fear of denial. Getting ignored or turned down is simply a normal part of the creative evolution. Look at some of the most famous storytellers in history. For example, J.K. Rowling's manuscript of Harry Potter. It was rejected 12 times by publishers who didn't see its value. Or Walt Disney, who was literally fired from a newspaper because an editor told him that he lacks imagination. If the path of some of the most famous storytellers in history is paved by plenty of no's, why do we think that our path into the creative field needs to be effortless and we're supposed to hear only yeses? If the path in our creative journey is only full of yeses, I would say that something is pretty off. A lack of likes or a polite rejection is actually not a sign to stop. It's just a milestone to show that you actually had the courage to try. It means that you are not there yet. The only difference between a secret artist and an active artist is the willingness to be seen while you're still learning. Draw your cartoon critic, tell your friend about your art, and share something raw today. If you need a safe, quiet space to draw along with me after a long work day, be sure to check this video out and let's keep exploring art together. Let me know in the comments what was the most useful part of the video that you are going to implement in your art today. I'm always curious to know. And if you find this video useful, be sure to subscribe for my channel for more art-related videos in the future. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much for spending the time with me, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye!